Good morning. It is the 15th. No, today's the 16th. June 16th. It's like 7 something in the morning. I woke up and I decided I wanted a coffee. So I got up and went to Starbucks. And I think they made it a little too strong this morning, but it is what it is. It's already coursing through my system as we speak. And soon enough, I'm going to feel it. Anyway. I hope everyone is doing well this morning. I hope everything's going good for everybody. A couple interesting things happened to me a few days ago, and I've been sitting on it for a little while because one, they happened on the same day, but at like different times of the day, so I didn't realize that I had two things I could talk about instead of one. I did try to make a video about one of the situations that was a little more I guess relevant at the moment, but it didn't come out right. Whatever. But I've sat on it for a few days. I've thought about it for a few days, and I think I'm ready to talk about it. It's nothing major, nothing serious. It's just things that I have observed, not just over the years, but just in general, especially with my situation with my narcissistic mother, and just things that I'm noticing, and even things that I guess I should have noticed that I didn't at the time. So the first thing that happened is a few days ago I was cleaning my car out, and I happened to open up my glove compartment. I was looking for a specific paper in there, and I did not find it. Go figure. Anyway, what I did find was a envelope, like one of those envelopes you get for giving somebody a card, birthday, Mother's Day, whatever. I found one of those, and it had my name on it, and I didn't know where it came from, which doesn't mean anything. It just means that I've had it a really long time, and I just didn't notice, or I forgot, or whatever the case may be. This happens with me a lot. Anyway, so I recognize that the card has my mother's name, her handwriting on it, so I know it's from her. It is open, so I opened it at some point. I just don't remember when. I open it again. I pull out the card. I didn't even read the card. But when I open up the card, there's a gift card inside it. I remember this envelope vaguely. So I've had it for, I guess, years. At least a couple years, I guess. But I never used it. I completely forgot the gift card was in there, obviously. But the interesting thing was, as I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, since I was aware of myself, my request for gifts has always been the same. Just give me gift cards, because for the most part, I don't know what I want until I see it. And there are plenty of stores and places that I am a huge shopper for. My mother would know this. There are not any stores that she'd be interested in, though. My mom's the type that if your clothes didn't come from the mall or some specific, store, they're not good clothes. If you didn't spend a certain amount of money on them, they're not fancy enough, or they don't look good enough for other people. But I am currently talking to all you beautiful people in a onesie I got from Amazon that has holes everywhere you can't see. I don't care. I really don't care. I don't care. I bought this onesie because I like rainbows, and it is a full body rainbow, and now it's a full body rainbow with holes in it. I don't care. My mother doesn't even like that I wear onesies, so whatever. Anyway, I opened the gift card, and it is for a store that I have never in my life gone to. It never would. Not a store I would ever go to. And I thought to myself, when I first opened this card, the first thought I probably had was, why would she buy me this? Why would she give me a gift card to a store that I have never gone? Now, I know she goes there. She goes there all the time. But I would never go to this store. And she knows this. So the one time that she got me a gift card, like I asked for, it was for a store that she knows I would never go to. Ever. because it's not my style. It's just not my style. And that's the thing with narcissistic people, or in at least a narcissistic parent. They expect you to be like them. And I also realized that my mom, I think that her whole that whole getting my biological father to sign over his rights, I truly believe that in her mind, if she got me away from him, I would never be like him. And I even understand why she would think that. You grow up to your environment, or a lot of people do. That's why you see, I think I hear a lot of people go off to college in like different states or whatever, and they come back completely different. It's because they're exposed to other things. And I believe that in my mother's mind, if she got me away from that side of the family, I wouldn't be like them, I'd be like her. But it backfired, because in the process of doing so, the way she treated me caused me not to want to be like her at all. And it caused me to be like that other side of the family that I never even saw, because she took me away. And I can only, I'm pretty sure that's a huge gut punch. Can you imagine taking someone out of an environment completely and they still develop everything the way that environment would have been? That's gotta be pretty shitty. And I don't feel bad about it. I love the way I am. I am a compassionate person. I'm an understanding person. If a person has an issue, I will take the time to try to help them if they want it. I will say this though, if I try to help you and you keep shitting in my face, believe me, that help will go away real quick. I don't have the time. I tend to feel everybody's stuff. So if I try to help you, if you don't want the help, be clear about it and move on. Because otherwise, when I'm around you, I'm going to want to fix what I can't fix because you don't want it fixed. And eventually that starts to get real frustrating, especially when people keep coming back to me with the same issue. And I try to tell them, look, let's try this or do this. You want to feel better, you need to do this. Or let's dig in and find out why you're feeling this way so we can fix it. I'm rambling again. I apologize. Anyway, so I'm looking at this gift card and in my head, now this is like now time, not when I opened it, however long ago that was. But in my head, I'm like, the amount of time my mom puts into bullshit is amazing. It is incredible to me. My daughters can come to me right now and say, Mom, I want this particular shirt. And I can hate the shirt. But if that's the shirt my daughter wants, I'm going to get the ugly shirt. It's not about me at that point. It's about my baby. And if that's what she wants, that's what I'm going to do. I have been like that with my children their whole lives. I allow them to be themselves. And I will say this. I did realize even, a long time ago when they were younger, there would be times I'd pick out an outfit or an activity or something. And I'd be like, oh, you got to try this. You'll love it. And they don't like it. And then it's kind of like a little, it's a little kick to the gut. I get it. I would feel bad. I'd be like, God, I wish they'd be like me. But then at whatever point I started hearing myself say that to myself, I was like, oh no. This is exactly what my mom does. This is why she, has so many issues with me, because I didn't turn out the way she wanted. And now I'm sitting here looking at my daughter thinking, God, why can't she be like me? No, she needs to be her. And I figured that out when they were little, like very little. And I have allowed them to be themselves this whole time. And I see a level of excitement and confidence in them that I didn't have when I was their age. And I recognize that is because me being me was not encouraged. But, I say all that because this random card that I must have had for I don't know how long reminded me of how much effort I have watched my mother put in just to be an asshole my whole life. The amount of work that she would put in just to see me disappointed is insane. But it's what she did. It's who she is. Even today, that is who she is. And it's amazing to me. I can't imagine putting in that much work on the off chance you might upset someone else. That's insane to me. And I'm her kid. Like, she goes out of her way to try to upset me. She gave birth to me. Why go through all the months of pregnancy just to treat what came out of it like shit? I don't get that. I don't get it. I got 2 kids. Being pregnant wasn't fun. In fact, I had conditions during both of my pregnancies that were not fun. But I went through it because I wanted my babies. And I wanted to watch them grow and flourish and see them live an amazing life. Or at least the best life that I could give them. But that's not what I got. It's not what I got at all. Oh, I just thought of something else. That's going to be another video. I'm not ready to talk about that today. Okay. The other thing that happened. My daughter and I, my youngest daughter, we went grocery shopping. It's a regular thing. Everybody does that. While we were out grocery shopping, we ran into this lady, or we ran into, it's like old family friends, you could say. But the reality is, I haven't seen these people in so long, I forgot who they were. It is my mother and father, their next door neighbor. It is their literal next door neighbor. And when I saw him, I was like, shit. And I was like, no, there's nothing to be there's no reason to have an issue here. They're not my family. They're my mother's neighbors. But there's the whole point that they are the neighbors. They know me. They've watched my children grow up. They know, if I'm at the house, they know it. But I haven't been over there. I think the last time I went to my parents' house was in December. I don't think I've been over there since the end of December. I did drop my kids off over there one day, but I didn't go in. I just dropped them off. But anyway, it was their neighbors, and the lady, she's an older woman. She's grown, retired, whatever. She's got 3 adult children. They all live together. Anyway, so she sees me. I don't notice her at first, and then I look up, and they're staring at me, and I was like, oh, hey. It took me a second to remember who she was, because I haven't seen her in months. And it took me a little while to recognize her. And then I was like, oh, okay, hey, how you doing? And she sees my daughter, and she always points at my kids because she can't ever remember which is which. She's an older woman. It doesn't matter. They're not her children. There's no reason for her to be able to recognize them just initially, So she points at my daughter, and I tell her who it is. Oh, yeah, this is the young one. This is the little one. Neither of them are little anymore. They're both taller than my short ass. And she was like, well, she's just getting so big. And then she looks at me and she goes, oh, you've lost weight. And I was like, well, yeah, I've lost about 75 pounds. I've just really been working on me. And she's like, well, what are you doing, to lose the weight? And I'm going to be real. I didn't want to say. And it's not because I'm like trying to gatekeep weight loss. It's because, this particular woman is, I guess you could say she's a bit of a gossip. But the other thing is she's not far off mentally from my mom. I don't think they actually care for each other very much, but I think that's because they are so similar that they irk each other. But whatever, not the point. Doesn't matter to me at all. I don't live over there. But I didn't want to just say it, but I was like, yeah, I'm not much of a liar either. I'm gonna have to be honest here. And so I tell her, I said, realistically, what started it is me working on my mind, working on healing, working on getting all this up here straight. And once you start, clearing out the garbage up there, which is what I've been doing this whole time, it'll go down, I guess, into the rest of you. Like, you start feeling better up here. And for me, this is how it happened for me. I started feeling better in my head. I started seeing things differently. I started feeling differently. And it became easier to go to the gym. And it became easier to stop eating when I wasn't hungry or needed to feel something. And doing this is allowed me to, it allowed me to lose like 75 pounds. And that's a huge accomplishment because, I think I've mentioned in a video before, my mom would talk about how big I was. Oh, you need to lose weight. You need to lose weight. Completely ignoring that she's bigger than I am. But I actually did something about it. Every time my mom would try to lose weight, she'd hire a trainer and all this stuff. And I would tell her none of that is necessary. You can do it yourself if you really want to. But in her mind, losing weight like that is just impossible without somebody sitting on your shoulder forcing you to do it. I didn't get a trainer. I didn't want a trainer. I decided one day I'm going to the gym and I'm just going to keep going until I get the results I want. And that's what I did for however long it took. I think it was probably a little like a year or so. But whatever, that's not the point. Okay, I ended up losing about 75 pounds. It started because I started working on my brain first, my mental health, and before you know it, my whole body came along. Now, am I done losing weight? No. I would say I might want to lose another 20 pounds or so. I don't want to lose much more than that because I have already lost a little bit of the features I was trying to keep. So that's what I told her. I said, I just started working on my mind, cutting some people out that don't need to be in my life, that were causing me pain, not giving me joy. And she was like, oh, well, that's good, She then says, well, are you going to be at your dad's birthday party? Because one of her children has the same, like, their birthday's the same week as my dad's. Or my stepdad, however you want to, it's like the same week. So a lot of times they'll celebrate together. And I mean, that's a great idea. They've done amazing parties before. They've hired like DJs, they've hired like mixologists. Like they've really done it up a few times. So it's, it's a good thing to do. And they live next door. So you can just have this huge group of people if that's what you want to do. And I told her, I said, well, no, I won't be there. I said, happy birthday to the, her kid or whatever. And I said, I know that you and your, my dad, I know y'all celebrate together. The girls might be there. I will not. And she was like, oh, well, why is that? And I said, I'm just going to be real with you. I have cut contact with my mother. I'm not going to be anywhere that she is. And if that means that I don't go to some birthday parties, I don't go to some birthday parties. It's really important that I stand my ground here because if I don't, everything starts over and I'm not going back to the beginning. I'm not doing that again. And she was like, oh, I said, I said, it's just, I've tried for a long time and I'm not trying anymore. I have done everything I can do and I'm not interested. And she was like, well, you can just take your breaks from each other and then y'all just try to work it out. And I said, no, there's no working it out. Not at this point. I'm done. There is no working it out. I'm done. And she said, no, don't say that. She's your mom. That is a phrase that I am so sick of hearing because the way I see it, if I created you, I have a responsibility to give you the best that I can, right? I don't look at my daughters and think, my daughters are skinnier than I am, so now I don't like them. My daughters are taller than I am, so now I don't like them. They have something that I want, or I had at one time, because we all started out as children, yes? So I have never looked at my kids and thought, because she's prettier or younger or more energetic than me, she is a problem. Never thought that. I look at my kids and think, they are so smart. They are so funny. They are driving me crazy today. Like, these are the things that I think of with my children. I have never once thought, what can I do today to make them feel like shit? Like, that has never crossed my mind. And I'm looking at her and I just said to her, it does not matter to me that she is my mother, because it didn't matter to her that I was her daughter. So why should I care? When I said that, she was gone. Like, that was it. And I think, I don't know for sure, but I think that what it was is she didn't want me saying certain things because her children were there. And like I said, there are so many similarities between herself and my mom that I don't even think they realize. I think me being bold and saying I'm not putting up with the bullshit, I think that probably alarmed her, because her two of her children were standing there. And if I'm that bold, that might put ideas in their heads. That's what I think. I could be wrong. I don't know. That woman is not related to me. Doesn't matter to me what she does. I just think that some of the similarities and things that I've observed and things that I have talked to her own kids about, I think that that's what happened. Is in her mind, I can't let them stand here and hear this. So she was gone, and that was fine with me. I'm not bothered by that. But one of her kids stayed back and pulled me aside and was like, I don't know what's going on over there, but, your dad's drinking a lot. And I looked at him and I said, yeah, I figured he was. I talk to him when he calls, but he doesn't call, every day or anything like that. I might talk to him once a week or so. And he was like, yeah, and I don't know what your mom is saying or doing, but your dad is drinking a lot, which is concerning to me. It's very concerning to me, because my dad, he's a good guy. Sometimes I wish he was bold enough to just say, look, I am sick of this, and you're either going to change or I'm going to go. Like, I really wish he would do that, but he probably never will. And that's not for me to decide. That's for him. But if he is drinking a lot, I get it, because at this point, there's no one there as a buffer anymore. I'm not home. My brother's moved out. He is getting the full effect of my mother now, because there's no one else for her to draw from anymore. And he is not prepared to deal with it, because, he doesn't realize, I don't think he realizes that what my mom does is abusive yet. I don't think he's figured it out. My dad was also raised by his mother, who is also a lot like my mom, and she doesn't get along with my mother either. And I think that that's because they're so similar, that they butt heads, because they are both fighting for the attention of everyone in the room, if that makes sense. And you can't win that way. It's just not how it works. I also found it very interesting that it's been months since I have communicated with my mother, and she hasn't mentioned to anybody that I'm not talking to her. I find that interesting, because that means that she knows that if she says, Chastity and I don't talk anymore, she's going to have follow-up questions that she cannot answer, because those same people will eventually talk to me. And she knows I'm going to tell them the truth. I don't lie. I don't have a reason to lie. I'm grown. What, is somebody going to spank me? Am I going to get grounded? No. So I don't have a reason to lie. And I find it very interesting that my mom has no problem telling anybody's business, but she ain't told nobody about this. That's interesting to me. It's not surprising, I guess, but it's definitely interesting, because this would be a great story to use. My daughter has abandoned me. It's not possible. You cannot abandon your creator. Your creator can only abandon you, because I didn't ask to be here, right? So I can't abandon, my children can never abandon me. If they walk out the door and leave and are gone, that is actually what they are supposed to do. They're supposed to grow up, come into their own, and go into the world. That's what's supposed to happen. But not if you have a narcissistic parent. You are supposed to need them forever, and they will intentionally not teach you things so that you are dependent. And I have watched this happen in a lot of people, so I know that it's part of their plan. I watched my own mother tell me for years not to move out. I'm wanting to move out. You don't need to move out. You need to stay here till you finish school. No. Hell no. I will never finish school if I stay here. I still didn't finish school, but that's not the point. There was no way I would have ever finished if I'd have stayed home, because she would have found a way to get in the way to either prolong it or force me to leave altogether, because she didn't finish school. So how dare me try to finish? You see what I'm saying? Like, it is insane the way these people's minds work. I don't get it. I don't understand how you can put that much energy into worrying about other people. But they do it. They do it. And it is, I don't get it. I don't understand. But yeah, that's what happened. I found a card in my car to a store that she knows full well I never would have gone to, but she bought it, and then she could use that to say, I got you a gift card to a store you know I would never go to. That is not the same thing as an actual gift. That is bullshit. And then the other thing is, I'm always amazed at these people who believe that the child is the one who's supposed to fix the relationship. It was not my relationship to start with. It was not my choice for this relationship to exist. It was never on me to make sure it worked. That was always on my mother. And she was more interested in image and more interested in making sure I didn't surpass her than she ever was in seeing me reach my potential. I think that's a really sad thing. But I fixed it with my own kids. They have their own dreams and ideas, and it has nothing to do with me except for the fact that I stand behind them and tell them, you got this, babe. You got it. And I'm already proud of you regardless. Y'all have a good day.